Hello, friend. Number one, I'm not feeling well. This flu, whatever it is, has been roaring through our home as well as many of the homes of our viewers and staff here. And also, we're in the middle still of finishing our studio. We're a lot closer. This will ultimately be my backdrop where our bookshelves and a lot of different knickknacks, items, icons, things that I've collected all over the world that will be there. We're really excited to be broadcasting here, and the echo you hear will also be dealt with. Anyway, if I'm not up to speed today, it's because I don't feel well. As you know, the members of ISIS, Islamic State, devout Muslims, have burned to death a Jordanian pilot. Now, I'm going to give you some background, some historical and theological background regarding Muhammad and putting fellow Muslims to death. And I'm also going to explain my theory as to why President Obama has suddenly determined that he and no one on his immediate staff or spokesman are allowed to say the words Islamic terrorist or Muslim terrorists anymore, all right? First, let's deal with the history of Muhammad. There was some, here's what he said about a Muslim who leaves his faith. No doubt I heard Allah's apostles saying, that's Muhammad, during the last days there will appear some young foolish people who will say the best words, but their faith will not go beyond their throats, i.e. they will have no faith, and will go out from their religion as an arrow passes out of the game. So wherever you find them, kill them. For whoever kills them shall have reward on the day of resurrection. All right, this is Muhammad saying, if a person professes to be a Muslim, Muhammad said if a person changes their religion, once they become a Muslim, they go back to being whatever it was or they go to something else, they are to be killed, all right? We're going to have another hadith in a minute that says that. But I want you to note something that's really critical in Islamic theology. There's a word called jahiliyyah, which means confusion, a state of confusion. And in Muslim theology, this was the state of the world prior to Muhammad coming. It was in a state of confusion, religious confusion. And God allegedly sent Muhammad to be the last prophet, the seal of the prophets, who would correct the errors of time. All right? The Jews had the Moses law, but the rabbis tinkered with it, and the Gospels were given to Christ, but monks and priests altered it, and Muhammad came to set the record straight for all of them and to give the true meaning of God and the true means by which he is to be worshipped, served, and obeyed. So, prior to his coming, it's called jahiliyyah, it's a state of confusion. But during the Islamic age, there were rulers who swept through the Muslim lands and then converted to Islam, but still used the law code of their pagan ancestors rather than adopt Sharia law. And so Muslim theologians said, you cannot separate Muhammad and Islamic theology from Sharia law. And if you refuse to obey Sharia law, you're a false Muslim. And they also went on to say that if they helped false Muslims, if a professing Muslim helped false Muslims, in other words, if they helped sustain a law code other than Sharia law, then they were traitors to Islam and it was legitimate to kill them. Now this is very important because men like Said Qutb, there are modern day, in the last century, Islamic theologians who helped give birth to the Muslim Brotherhood and who were part of the Muslim Brotherhood, who laid out this lengthy theological undergirding, drawing from Muhammad's words, that basically said this, that the Muslim leaders, whether of Egypt or any other nation, who did not embrace Sharia law and try to restore the caliphate, the one ruler and one people to bring back the Muslim empire, any Muslim leader who did not embrace Sharia law and to return to there being one Muslim nation was a false Muslim. They were a traitor, and it was legitimate to kill them, to overthrow them. So Anwar Sadat, the leader of Egypt, who cut the deal with Menachem Begin, the leader of Israel, he was assassinated by members of the Muslim Brotherhood. And they had a theological reason for doing so, because Sadat was not ruling Egypt according to Sharia law, and he had just cut a deal with the Jews. And so they killed him. Because Muhammad said, anyone who changes his religion or who helps infidels against true Muslims, kill him. And that's what they did. And so in the mind of the Islamic State terrorists, the devout Muslims, they know all this theology. They know this history. And they looked at a Jordanian pilot who says, I'm a Muslim. And they said, no, you're helping to sustain the king of Jordan. He doesn't want Sharia law. You're trying to kill true Muslims who are trying to restore Sharia law, who are trying to restore the caliph, the one leader. You're trying to kill us, and we're the most devout, faithful followers of Muhammad. Therefore, you are a traitor. Therefore, God commands us to kill you. That's what they're thinking. But I guarantee you right now there is a debate going on even among terrorists because he was burned to death. I'll tell you about that when we come back.
You have two choices. I mean, you can try to raise your children by design, or you will raise them by default. There are no perfect parents. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. If we have a plan, we've got a better chance of getting it right in the long run.
There is something deep within the heart of every human being that longs for parental acceptance and approval. When does a boy become a man?
Get a group of guys around and ask them that question.
I don't think there's a certain age. Some men stay boys their whole life.
I would say, 16, 18 years old.
Wow, that's a good question.
When they get bar mitzvah?
Well, I think when he has a child. So I just became at 56, 56 years old.
Without the power of the Holy Spirit changing us and giving us power over our sin, we can't hope to be the dads that our kids need us to be.
We have put together what we call an online university for you. Now that's a highfalutin way of saying that we have a pretty significant library of material, books, tapes, videos that are there for you for free. Why are we doing this? Because America is desperate for new leaders, and because this material could help you to become the leader that you and God want you to be. Check it out and enjoy it.